very good morning to you. How was the long holiday? We trust that you enjoyed yourself. And of course, a happy belated Mashujaa Day to some of you who had no idea what was going on, saying, what? There's a holiday, there's a holiday. Yes, it actually happened. Welcome to a brand new week. My name is Shiko Kaitani.
Of course, my name is Jeff Mote, and speaking of, I think if you're not in the country, that's the only way Mashujaa Day could have passed you without you knowing. Of course, from Japan, from Birmingham, from Qatar, our one viewer from North Korea. Those ones, Mashujaa Day might have petered them. And then, oh, it happened? Welcome to the show. My name is Jeff Mote.
But as guys of Imali, we definitely did enjoy Mashujaa Day. Yeah, we watched the entire thing from, from the digs, what the president did, which was an amazing, situation. Watching Eliud get that EGH, man, that was amazing. My name is Mungalambu. Welcome to K24 This Morning.
And of course, even after the long weekend, we get into the week proper, looking at the news super review. We're joined by managing editor Ken Bosire, looking at the big stories that you'll be waking up to this morning and what they'll mean for you moving forward. Front page of the People Daily, MPs seeking to block state agencies from spying. They don't want to ask you for permission. They can get your phone records, your M-Pesa records, and do what they need to do. The DCI saying that this will help fight corruption. Other views talking about the fact that there's a right to privacy that needs to be honored and respected either way.
Exactly.
We'll discuss that and plenty more as we get into the news review proper this morning.
And of course, after that, it's time to check out some of your trending stories of the day. And of course, if you're not talking to us already on social media, you need to do so. Get in touch with us through @K24TV on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
You can also SMS us through 21222. And because today we're going to be talking about chamas, I'll definitely need you to come through on that. I shall be joined by one Lawrence Obonyo, founder of Glam My Home, Pauline Wairimu from Passion Profit, and of course, Jepkemboy Banya also from Glam My Home. They have this amazing chama that is online. I didn't even know that. And I'm in that WhatsApp group, Facebook group. But you know what? They do amazing stuff. They go from home to home, glamming people, and that is an amazing way just to help the community and the society at large. So we'll be talking about that from 8 o'clock all the way till 9.
Okay, fantastic stuff. Jump on the conversation as well. You've been told you can find us. Let us know what you are up to over the long weekend and how you're feeling for this Monday that feels like a Tuesday, that might be a Wednesday. Those Monday blues, you're really not sure where you are in the week when it starts like this. Let us know how you are so far. The show starts right now. We look at your traffic, and straight after that, get into your newspaper review.
Okay, so which roads to avoid, which ones to use, that is what we are all about on our Traffic Watch every morning right here on K24. Of course, with the long holiday, we do understand that the mood is still at ease, not too much happening. We really wonder if people are actually going to be making it to work today, but still, let's monitor those roads because I understand literally the CBD is still a ghost town. Okay, so that being said, let's kick things off from Mombasa Road, shall we? And let me back things up slightly so that we can actually take a look at this major route right about now. Here we are at the Southern Bypass Likoni Road Junction, and so far so good. It's actually green, meaning that the roads are absolutely clear. And here we are at Bombil, just gonna back things up to around Imara Daima so that we can see what things are looking like. Well, it seems like you are early risers, those of you from Imara and of course around Southfield Mall. If you're coming from this particular area, please be on the lookout for this. As you can see, red line indicating the traffic is bumper to bumper, but nothing major to report because as you get to Samir Group, it does open up, and here you go, it's green all the way. So making our way still back to Nyayo Stadium very quickly so we can jump to Langata Road. As you can see, it is fantastic on Mombasa Road. So far, so good. This little circle right here is Nyayo Stadium, as you can see. And of course, you've got that little red line and of course, a little bit of the orange lines there, indicating that of course, traffic coming to the traffic spot, or at least the traffic lights rather. And so as it would be expected, either you've got traffic police there actually on the road, or actually the lights there. And so, as would be expected, a little bit of traffic, but nothing major to report. Langata Road, let's make our way up very, very quickly so that we can actually see what things are looking like for you if you're coming from Karen, if you are coming, of course, from LA. Now, I say Warongai. Let's see how things are looking like for you. Here we are at Galleria Mall. At this particular junction, you can see right here, and of course, that's Magadi Road for you that actually leads to Rongai. But cruising down the highway, things are looking good. Can't complain. Here we are at KWS, making our way past the Langata Barracks and, of course, Carnivore. And down here we are, of course, at that intersection, as you can see, where the bypass is, and of course where Carnivore is, and then here we are at Wilson. Traffic coming in, coming out of the airport as would be expected. Nothing major to report, but that's what that little snarl up would actually be right around there. Here we are at T-Mall, and there you are getting our way to Nyayo Stadium. Not bad. Bagadi Way, also another key route to actually take a look, because as you probably do know, it's a major route for those of you, moving from Gong Road, trying to make your way to Mombasa Road, or if you are actually on Langata Road or coming from Mombasa Road, trying to make your way to Kilimani. Bagadi Way, obviously a key route, but as you can see, it's actually green. There you have it, right here at the center, indicating that the roads are absolutely clear. So it's good. It's a good time to actually use this particular route. Here we are at Kenyatta National Hospital, and we're going to try and make our way onto Gong Road and back things up all the way to the Junction Mall. And so if I can just zoom out a little bit so we can actually back things up a little bit. Here we are. That's Coptic, you've seen. Here we are at Prestige Plaza. A little bit of a snarl up here, but obviously that's due to the traffic lights, as would be expected. All you just have to do is exercise a little bit of patience, but of course you'll be good to go. And once we pass Prestige Plaza, here we are at Adams Arcade. Not looking too bad. Remember, Gong Road still under construction, so you still do have major diversion points and a few excavation points to be on the lookout for, but please be careful as you use Gong Road, as it is still currently under construction. But of course, they've definitely made some great headway in regards to the dual carriages being constructed and being opened. So it's really good right about now on Gong Road. As you can see, it's green all the way. Here we are at the Swedish School. This is Kibera Road, and right here we have the Junction Mall. If you are from this particular area, if you come from Karen, coming from Dagoretti, you do know that they have actually closed Naivasha Road briefly just so that they can continue with the constructions. But, it's on and off. So you pretty much have to take your chances if you are coming from Karen, but nothing major so far. It's a good time to start heading out so you can actually beat the traffic that would probably be around here at 8 a.m. Speaking about Kingara Road and making our way to James Gishuru, this dip, also another key link road that leads us to Lavington. And here we are at the Amboseli Road Junction, and here is James Gishuru. So the windy road making its way through Lavington. So far, so good. I'm actually quite surprised that it's green at this particular time around Lavington Shopping Center, because as you know, quite a number of schools around, or rather on James Gishuru. Yes, you've got your shopping centers, and of course you would expect a lot of traffic around this area, specifically because a lot of parents trying to get their kids to school. So a lot of them are early risers and already on the road by this time. But as you can see, so far, so good. And here we are at St. Austin's Roundabout, making our way past Strathmore School. And here we are around the Muthangari Police Station and making our way to ABC. Here we are. Here is Wayaki Way, here is ABC, and of course the Westlands Red Hill Road, the brand new road that actually leads all the way to Nyari. An amazing route, by the way, totally a lifesaver for those of you who are looking for an alternative route, trying to get to Westlands or trying to get to Nyari rather, and of course to the sides of Limuru Road and Village Market areas. It's an amazing route. But speaking about Wayaki Way, let's back things up all the way to Wayaki, rather to Waroko. and see how things are looking. Here we are at the Kangemi Bridge, quite notorious, by the way, for you know, that traffic that actually does make its way, or at least appear every morning. For those who are coming at least from Loresho, this is also a key spot to actually take a look at. And of course, for those of you going up, like you are heading towards Limpopo, the Kangemi Bridge, always something to be on the lookout for, because you definitely need to exercise a lot of patience, if you ask me. Me obviously being a frequent visitor around this particular area. And speaking about Kangemi, here we are at the Soko, and here we are at Mountain View. So far so good. As you can see, the roads are clear, and that means that traffic is of course moving at the spots where you see the yellow orange line. Means things are actually looking pretty okay. So you can start heading out if you are going to be using Wayaki Way this morning. It's fantastic. And of course, with that, we continue to ask you to be our eyes and our ears on the roads. We've taken a look at least 3 major routes. What can you also tell us about where you're coming from, where you're going? Is there something interesting you feel that we definitely need to actually put up here on our traffic watch? Send it to us through our social media platforms at K24TV on Instagram, Facebook, and of course, Twitter. Jeff Mote is ready to take us through the newspaper review.
And welcome back. Now that you know how the roads are looking, we trust that you'll make sure you make adequate plans to get to work, to get to school, to wherever you're going, minus that traffic situation that can change the outlook of your day. But we'll keep you updated of the traffic situation right across the day right here. If you see anything we need to know, as always, as Shiko said, tweet us at K24TV and let the rest of the motorists know. Now it's time for our newspaper review. Look at the stories that you're waking up to this morning. Look at the front pages of each of the dailies, and of course bring in Ken Bosire, managing editor of the People Daily, to look at these stories in depth. Front page of the PD, MPs seek to block state agencies from spying. Experts say proposal to amend data protection bill will secure liberties of citizens, but DCI boss Kenoti warns move is likely to hurt ongoing war on corruption, money laundering and terrorism. That's an issue, of course, that needs to be debated right there because the rights to privacy, of course, are enshrined in the Constitution therein. Front page of the Daily Nation, US bars graft suspects, drug lords put on notice. Going gets tough as Trump administration also puts brakes on construction of Nairobi-Mombasa Expressway, citing country's debt levels. Who would have thought? Suspects and the families seeking to visit America will be denied visas, of course, with this tough stance as far as the Trump administration is concerned. And that's a story that you can get in detail in your copy of the Daily Nation. Front page of the Standard is all about the masters of doublespeak. One day they're supporting devolution, the next they are tearing it apart. Today they want a presidential system of government. Tomorrow they are whipping up emotions for a parliamentary system. There's never a dull day in Kenyan politics. And of course, right there at the front page, looking at the key figures as far as this referendum push is concerned, or push against it is concerned. The details are also captured therein in the Standard. Also the front page of the Standard, blow as EU market loses taste for Kenyan produce. Earnings from horticultural produce are on the decline as major buyers of Kenya's famed flowers, fresh vegetables and fruit cut spending. That's a detail and a story that you can get on page 4, of course, in your financials pull-out of your Standard. Front page of the Star, it's all about Cliff Ombeta. The day I almost died. Lawyer Cliff Ombeta reveals how he narrowly escaped death as he defended the Akasha brothers. A wide-ranging interview lawyer speaks about his love for criminal law. So getting under the skin and getting to know the lawyer Cliff Ombeta a bit better. And then front page of the Business Daily, car taxes to fall after KRA duty ruled illegal. High Court now declares tax on used vehicles unfair amid concerns that the duty is inflated. Well, that's, I'm sure, good news for all people who are in the motor business. And for those who are planning on buying a car pretty soon, we'll get the details of that in your copy of the Business Daily. But right now, let's start off with the PD, as always, joined by Managing Editor, People Daily, Ken Bosire. Good morning.
Morning to you.
How was the long weekend? Was it a long weekend for you?
No. I was here most of the time. Just rested on Sunday. Friday, Saturday, I was here.
Right. Okay, and of course, we can see the hard work that you put in is already here on the front page.
I guess that was my way of saying my shujaa. I'm a mimi ni shujaa.
And of course, you are celebrated in absentia. even if you're in the office, the people who are getting your paper definitely love the output.
The mention.
Yes, absolutely. Let's look at the front page of the PD, Mr. Bosire. MP seek to block state agencies from spying. The sources of information that they'll be getting from this particular move will be your phone records, your financial transactions, that's M-Pesa and your bank statements, utility bills such as power, water, tax compliance, NHIF and NSSF right there. And if as they look at this, they're talking about a way to take this further in terms of fighting corruption, terrorism, money laundering, going and following the money trail. But on the other side, there's the whole issue of the right to privacy.
Yes, it's usually a democracy that we need to balance these kind of things. But I think this is the same thing to do. In any civil society, when you want information, be open about it. Tell me, Ken, we want the following information from you, and we have that's why we have things, issues like warrant of arrest, so that it's not an ambush, because these ambushes never pay off anything. We've seen in the past that some of these agencies can get rogue. You have a right to know what is happening in your life. Once you've been targeted, just like police elsewhere in civilized societies who come and say, we have an interest in the way you're doing your business. Let's go into it, and we have a warrant of arrest to seek the following information. I think this is what happens, just to stop a few rogue agencies trying to do what we call is below the belt.
Right.
While at the same time, it's also important to get these things. But once they have zeroed in on you, it's important that they get that information in a proper way. And in the past, it has been abuse of data. Data protection in this country, and especially our country, is something that has been very bad. Because somebody can take your information. Even in hospitals, we've had people releasing information, confidential information on people's health without prior arrangements, and without letting the people know that this is what we intend to do. So this piracy of data destroys your own personal integrity, your privacy. We've also had cases of people using your data to do business. And it's important that you have something protecting you, Allah protecting you from such kind of abuse. Actually, it's the abuse and commercialization of data that should not be. Data is so sacrosanct. It's about you.
Mr. Bosire, let me push back and play devil's advocate as far as the DCI boss is concerned. Because from where he's coming from, the argument he's trying to put forward is, if Mr. Bosire is actually guilty, or we're suspecting him of laundering money or any corrupt act, the fact that we'll ask him for the records will give him time or give him a warning so that he can actually go and clean up before we actually pounce on him.
Yeah,
so even, when you look at this particular issue, what do you feel? Because they're saying if we warn him, then we've lost the game entirely. And these guys are very smart when it comes to actually muddying the whole trail of where this money came from or where it's going. And it becomes a real issue therein for them to actually follow and catch you in the act as well. Because that's what they're trying to do, essentially, from this particular move.
Why not just go to court and look for the information? Just say, we intend to do the following. They're not on a fishing expedition. They will just come and say, we have this kind of interest, and then they will deal it with you. I think it's important that we use civilized systems of extracting data from on any person or subject of interest, as opposed to doing the ambush type of thing. And people use it for all manner of illicit stuff. But I think this law needs to be cleaned out, because we are in a world where we are driven by data. In a world where we are driven by data. And everything about us is about what we have and what we do. And once you know that everybody is snooping on you and doing all manner, you don't know what it can be used against. So it's important that we have it above board. That we are looking at your case and we do this. And these suspicions, they can just do the right thing. Go to court, because ultimately they will take you to court. You know, this matter arose from the fact that the evidence about the current deputy CJ, they went and extracted information from her bank in a very legal way. So this is a matter that has been building up, and you know, in the court ruled that it is a legal way to do it. We are a country of the rule of law and order, so we must follow the rules. We must follow the law as it is. We can't just, this is not a jungle nation. And we have a constitution that says you must do things right, so that when you prosecute me, you know this is what has happened.
Luckily, we have a lawyer in the building as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Joy Mdivo, good morning.
Morning. I apologize for my tardiness.
Long Mashujade weekend, it seems.
Yes.
Glad you could make time to join us. We're looking at the front page of the People Daily. Interesting story we're talking about because MPs are seeking to block state agencies from spying. And they're talking about the fact that this comes from the fact DCI boss looking at this as a move to, further the fight on corruption, money laundering, and terrorism. But there's the issue and the sticky issue right there of the right to privacy. How do you balance the two so that, and that's something I'd pose to Mr. Bosire as well, so that in case Joy is actually stealing, they can get you without having to warn you that, okay, can we get your records, please? We suspect you to have either be laundering some money or perpetrating a certain act. How do they do that without having to warn you and giving you time to go and clean up whatever you are doing behind closed doors?
Thank you so much. I was listening to what Mr. Bosire was saying earlier, and I must agree with him. In Kenya, we have this approach to investigations. It's like we suspect there's something there, so tell you what, all of you open the doors, let us see what is there.
Right.
Clever investigators learn to see what is the problem prior to even doing the raid, such that by the time you're going to court to ask for a court order to actually investigate my accounts, you probably know what you're going to find.
Right.
And usually by that time, I have no inclination of what is going on, so I have no time to clean it up, as it were, because all other relevant information has already been collected. In Kenya, we have a tendency to, let's look for the smoking gun first, and then we find out where the crime was committed. Was this gun actually used? Right. That's the wrong approach. You come into my account to find all this money, then you ask me, explain how you got all this money. Then I give you a blank stare because I have a right to not incriminate myself. Right. And then you said, you know what? If she actually knew where the money had come from, she would have told us. The fact that she didn't tell us tells us that there is something. Let's go find that something.
Right.
It's not a clever way of doing things. And that is why data protection is very important, because the right to privacy is not just that people cannot know what's going on with you. No, it is that the state agencies do not misuse the power that they have to harass ordinary citizens. That's why such rights exist. Now, if, for example, I am accused of tax fraud, it's not just what information that they can extract from me that will give them that information. There's plenty other routes that would be indicative that I am evading tax. So by the time you're coming to look for the money, you've already gathered all this other evidence. And that's why I wish our agencies would go, like I saw what you were saying, the agencies that are hardest hit, at DCI, the KRA, EACC, the NIS. And I'm like, okay, fine. These guys need this information and can get this information if they go to court and they get an order to investigate your records. But if that's their only starting and selling point, then they get into trouble. And you must remember, the state has got immense power. And if they are given free hand, then the likelihood to abuse that power also exists. And we have seen that in this country, where people will be picked up and they disappear for days. You have no idea where they are. Others even are deceased, others are deported, and you have no idea what is going on. So it is imperative that the citizen is protected, and that is why the right to privacy is actually in our Bill of Rights. It's not a privilege that the state gives you that they don't investigate your matter. And that's part of the hulabaloo why the Huduma number faced a lot of resistance from some quarters, and that is why even now when you're looking at the breaches, when you're told, oh, the system was not as robust, or even the IEBC registers, we need laws that can tell the state, you know what, you can only go this far. And if you don't do it properly, then you lose whatever evidence you've got. The
story that you can get, of course, in detail in your copy of your People Daily this morning. We'll quickly move to page 6. We have a minute before we go to the first break, but I just want your opening comments on this particular issue. BBI report won't be released to public this week, says official. We're already seeing double speak right here. Bosire, let me bring in, because you're the ones who broke this particular story on this particular issue. The Joint Secretary Paul Mwangi had spoken about the fact that this ought to be ready even before Mashujade. They'd have given it to the president. Now, one of the members from the task force, Major John Say, is saying that it's not ready. The retreat that we're talking about wasn't happening. He was in his farm in Eldoret. What's going on with the task force?
I think clearly, like all other political processes in this country, these guys have certain allegiances and they're speaking from different scripts. You can see a binary here, the divisions within. What I suspect that they have failed to agree on some critical issues.
Right.
And this, I smell, could be the real thing. referendum or no referendum? I think this is where the question is.
Okay, before we go into the break, already we can see a double speak. From an initiative that was supposed to bring the country together, the task force itself isn't speaking with one voice. So unity already, an issue within the task force.
And the principles as well. You saw Honorable Raila spoke about it. The president just sort of hedged around it. So you can tell most probably there is trouble in paradise. And the fact that, I mean, it's a report. It's not legislation. It's not, it's just a report. Just tell us what is in there, because it is supposed to have come from Kenyans. So what you're telling us is what we told you.
Right.
We ought to already know what is in there. So if it is something that again has to go through the rigor of horse trading, then it tells you maybe it is not a document coming from Kenyans.
Right.
Maybe it is coming from other quarters. But I will be patient to see what is in there before I make the final decision. But it doesn't, the optics are not good.
Right.
It doesn't bring out the confidence that this is a document that was made by Kenyans, owned by Kenyans, and given from our leaders back to Kenyans for consideration.
Right.
It smacks of mischief when there's this, we're ready, we're not ready, we'll bring it out, we'll not bring it out, just wait one more week. But I had on some quarters the illusion that they're waiting for a presidential appointment to present the same to him. And I think the president is already on an official trip out of the country, so I'm thinking myself, well, that means we're going to be waiting for a little while for this BBI report. But let us see.
We'll wait and see, of course. We want your feedback on this as well as we get into our first break. BBI report delay, what do you feel about this particular one? Even as we spoke about this last week, a group of parliamentarians were saying that they'll pass this particular report once it gets to the floor of the House, not even knowing what's in the report. And as you can see, it seems like the report isn't even ready. What's your take on this particular delay as far as it's concerned? And the double speak coming from the BBI task force. How about you tweet us at K24TV? You can also SMS us on 21222. We are back with more after the break. Eliud Kipchoge finally recognized by the country on this one. But also, what was not said at the Mashujaa Day celebration? That's what you need to talk about right here on the show. We take a break. Back with plenty more.